I want to show you a brief tutorial on how to torch an asphalt hose when you think it's got a plug in there, or maybe it's just not moving very well and you think you have to melt some asphalt out of the hose in general. But most of the time you think you have a plug in your asphalt hose. Now, number one step is you need to get in the habit of when you arrive at the plant, looking at how the hose was laid when you arrived. Meaning, where do you expect the low point to be where a plug might be if you had a plugged hose? I'm looking at this hose and I think it'd be right here. Now this hose is laid out really well. I don't think it would be plugged, but if it was, I would focus on that lowest spot. If you pull your hose down and it looks like this, now you have no idea where the low point was. Now I'll show you a picture of what this looked like when I got here. It had a droop right down towards the end of the hose. So that's how I know I'm gonna focus on this area right here. That's where my plug is. Now that we are about ready to start torching our hose, what I like to do is I open up all my valves, open up the tanks, turn on the pump so that you're sucking through your hose. Do not open your trailer valve. Leave your trailer valve closed, open your sample valve, because that's how we're gonna know when we've successfully unplugged the hose, is we'll start hearing air go through the sample valve. Now let's go to the torch. When you open up your propane tank, you don't need to open this all the way, and you want to slowly crack it, maybe just half a turn. These valves can be funny. Just slowly crack it about half a turn, that's plenty. Now we come to our actual torch. I'm going to open this. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. Get to where you can hear a little bit of gas coming out, not too much or it won't light. There we go. Now you want a decent flame. Don't just have a little lighter, small flame. You want this pushing some flame out so that you can hear it blowing. Now, first thing is, don't go up and just point it on a spot and hold it there. It's a terrible idea. Two things. First off, you'll burn the crap out of the hose and ruin it. Second off, you'll only focus on one area when you need to focus on a wide area because you don't know exactly where that plug is. Next, which way's the wind blowing? I recommend you stand upwind so the wind helps push your flame down the hose and it doesn't blow the flame back at you. Next is I hold this along with the length of the hose. You can see I'm not pointing it at it. I'm holding it in the direction of the hose so the flame travels down the hose. This helps me not to burn the hose. This also helps move heat further down the hose and more effectively unplug the hose faster. And lastly, notice how I'm moving along the hose. I'm not holding it in one spot. Even though I'm holding it with the hose, I could still burn it. So I want to just move back and forth. You want to pan like this. And you're going to want to do both sides. Surprisingly, it doesn't heat up both sides. You're going to have to bounce around to get all sides of the hose. Now this can take a while. You might have to do this for a really long time because plugs can be bad, especially if it was thick oil or if it's a rather large plug. You may have to do it for 10 minutes. So you want to carefully move that back and forth. Once you hear air start coming out of your sample valve, then you know you're good to open things up. You'd close your sample valve, you could open your trailer and let the hot oil help you out, and then it'll help start pushing that plug through. If you open the valve and fill that hose full of oil before you start unplugging it, you're gonna have an entire plugged hose. It would be terrible. So you wait until you know your plug's melted, then you open up your trailer valve to start unloading. And then I would still, for about 5 minutes, move that torch along and warm up that area because the oil still might need a little help to push that plug through. And then once you've done that, you can turn everything off. Make sure you close both your valves on your propane tank and you should be good to go. And now you'll be extra motivated to make sure you walk out your hose and hang it up well so that you don't have to do that again, because it's not fun, honestly. But I hope you feel safe and comfortable knowing how to torch a hose now. Well, I hope that video was really helpful to you. If you would like, click over here. This is the subscribe button. You'll get more asphalt tips, tricks, safety videos, and stuff like that. After that, click over here to watch more of our videos so you can also become an asphalt tar master. Be safe out there and keep on hauling asphalt.